Okay, so let's select our button with the ID order, if I remember correctly. Yes, so the idea of my A tag or anchor tag, which I'm going to use for a link that is going to look like a button, the ID is going to be equal to order. So let's go ahead and select order. And the first thing we want to do is to give it a background color. So that it looks like a button. It's a small rectangle that is going to look like a button. Now, what background color do you suggest for this button? Hint, how many main colors do we have? Here we have black and gold and white. Which one would you pick for this background color? Would you pick gold? If you pick gold, it's going to be invisible because the background color is gold. If you pick white, it's different than gold, but it won't have a good contrast with the gold background color. And we have already used a lot of white text over there. If you say black, I would say that would probably be the best background color for this particular button. Now, you might say, a button for order, why not green? That's a good color for ordering, for logging in, signing up, for anything you want to encourage the user to do. Obviously, yes, that's one of the best colors. And as, for example, for the logout button, you have red. So there is psychology behind the user experience when you are using different colors in buttons and text and everything. That is correct. So I would probably go with a green color too. But in this particular design, we are customizing this design to follow a very, very particular constraint in terms of color. So I'm going to try black, and maybe in the future we can change that. Now, because my background color is going to be black, I'm going to change my color inside of it to maybe gold or white. Let's try white for now, and let's just take a look at that. Okay, so this is my button at the moment. It looks ugly, mainly because it doesn't have any padding. You see, there's no space between the borders of this button and what you have inside. And also, it is underscored. You see this underline here is part of the default design for a link. And we can go ahead and change that by removing the default text decoration for the link. But it's a link. As you can see, as soon as I hover on it, the mouse shape changes to this hand. So that's one advantage of using a link over here. Well, of course, you can achieve that in many different ways too. So let's go ahead and first of all, add some padding. And I'm going to add padding both to top, bottom, let's say 1.5 to top and bottom. And let's say 2 EM to left and right. Now this could be too much. This could be not enough. Let's go ahead and test it. Okay, way too big, especially the padding on the top and at the bottom. So we can reduce that. Maybe we can keep the one on the left and the right. Depends again on how large you want your button to be. So very personal choices over there. So let's go with a 1 EM by 1.7 EM. I would say that would probably give me a good size, maybe still lower for the top and the bottom. Maybe go with 0.7. Yep, this is much better. Now let's get rid of this underline. Now, maybe you like it. Maybe you want to have this underline under the word order now. Maybe you don't. So I'm going to show you how to remove it. If you want to keep it, you don't make any changes on your design. If you want to remove it, you will know how to do that. So remember that the ID order is on an A tag, on a link tag. And in order to remove the text decoration, that's underline is part of the text decoration. You see one of them is underlined here. So I want to remove that. So I'm going to go with none. So I don't want to have any text decoration on this particular link. So it looks like this. There's no underline anymore. Let me also go ahead and change this now to a uppercase N. I think it would look better in terms of how it looks in a button order now. Okay, that's more beautiful. Looks like a button. Look how beautiful this is now. Now you might say, okay, that's a beautiful button, but how could we make the corners round a little bit if you don't want them to be so sharp? Is it possible? And yes, of course it's possible. And probably you remember from before when we made that curved line on the top, you see this is the border around your element. And if you are guessing you can make that round by adding border radius, congratulations, that's the correct answer. So if you add border radius to, for example, let's say, in the case of a button, I will go with 0.3 EM. I don't want it to be too round. I don't want an oval shape or a circle shape for the button, depending on the rectangle and square. I want it to be a little bit round on the corner. So let's take a look. There you go. So it's a little bit round on the corners. So it's not too sharp like it was before, but it's not too round either. So you see, it's going to look ugly, in my opinion, if you went with the same 50% idea that we used earlier for the border on the top. So take a look. So if you went with the 50% idea, it would look like this. Now, maybe you like this shape for your button. Maybe you don't. In my case, I prefer to go with either the flat, sharp corners or just a tiny bit of round corners as we created before. So I will just undo this change to go to one step before. Now, by the way, you could add border to the button too. Let's say you want to add a solid border, 2 pixels and white. Now take a look. So this will add a border around your button. You see this white line around it? You like this? You can go with this new border, which is white around the button. So it's white border, black button, and order now is also white. So you find this more beautiful, you can go with this. I just wanted to show you how you can add a border. Now, one thing that is important when you are creating a buttons in terms of design is to add a hover effect. A hover effect is when the user hovers on top of the button, you want the button to react to that a little bit so that the user knows that they are hovering on the button, and the button is about to do something if they click it. And we can do it in many different ways. You might want to change the background color when they hover. You might want to change the border. You might want to add a shadow to the button that reacts to what the user wants to do. So let's try a few of them and let's see which one we find to be the more beautiful one. I'm going to select my order ID button and I will add :hover. So what this means is the following instructions are when the user hovers over the button. And what I want to do just first to quickly test is, let's say you want to change the background color from black to another color. Now, this is just a test, just to show you how it is going to look. So I will just go with a different dark color. Like here, I'm choosing brown. And I want you to see what is happening now if you refresh the page and you hover on the button. You see the change? So as soon as you hover on the button, it changes the background color to brown or red or any other color that you want to. So this gives the button a hover effect. That means it's reacting to what the user is doing on the page. Now, maybe you don't want to change the background color of the button. Maybe you want to change the text color of the button. That's another change you might want to have. In that case, you say, I want to change the color from what it is, which is white, to gold. Again, I'm going with goldenrod to be consistent with everything else I have. Now take a look. This is a more subtle change, but you can see it. As soon as I hover on the button, the text color changes, not the background color of the button. So if you like this more, you can go with this one, or you can go with a combination of both. Change the background color of the button and the text color of the button. One more thing I want to show you before we wrap the design of the button up is you could add other things like a shadow. So let's add a box shadow to the whole button. And let's say I want to add a black shadow with a 2 pixel for X, 2 pixel for Y, and 10 pixel for blur. So there's 3 numbers here. The first 2 are for X and Y, basically how far apart horizontally and vertically you want this color black to appear. And then the 10 pixel is how far do you want it to be visible for in terms of blurring it out. And it's going to fade, like it's not going to be a solid black color. So it's going to look brownish because it's on top of a gold, or grayish if it was on top of white. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going to actually happen when I add a box shadow as a result of a hover. Some of you might like this one the most. See that? It's very subtle, and you can see that as soon as I hover on it, there's a shadow appearing underneath the button. Now, if you want to see it better, I should make it larger. So let me just give this a 20 pixel for blur, and maybe make this a 5 by 5 by 20. And if you want to use a shadow, I also suggest that you don't have a border white around your button. So keep your button a flat black button, and then add the box shadow as a result of hover, like this. See, so this is more beautiful if you want to have a shadow added as a result of hovering on the button. So again, you have many things you can do. There is a border around the button or not, changing the color of the background color, text color, adding shadow as a result of hovering. So which one did you like the most? You can select the one you found most interesting for you as well.